and welcome back to the Chit Chat and Crochet podcast with me, Stephanie Mitchard. Tonight's episode, we are going to be talking about the game of wool again. We love the game of wool. I love that every single time I'm talking to somebody, they're like, have you been watching the game of wool? I'm like, yeah, obviously I've been watching the game of wool. The game of wool is the best thing in the entire world. It's so good. I love talking about it. And I can't believe that we're on episode 5. It's absolutely crazy. So let's get started. So if you've never ever been here before, my name is Stephanie Mitchard. I crochet, I craft, I do lots and lots of different types of things. And this is our little corner of the internet where we do all things crochet and all things crafty. We upload twice a week. We have our Wednesdays Chit Chat and Crochet podcast. We do a premiere episode at 7 p.m. so there's a live chat function. And then we also have our Sunday craft project of the week. Video goes live at 10 a.m. as a premiere. So again, we have the chat function. And that's the best thing about doing these videos. Over the last year, I have been uploading every single week. And we've started to create an amazing community here. We have people from all over the place coming and tuning in. It's like we have a craft club, and it doesn't matter where you are in the world. You can come and you can join the craft club and you don't even have to leave your own living room. So if all that sounds absolutely amazing, why don't you hit like, why don't you hit subscribe, come and join our community. We also have a Facebook group, the Mitchard Mateys Craft Club. Thank you, Wendy, for that name. Over there, you can post your projects, what you're working on, and the chats get like really fun over there. We also have a Discord as well that I'm trying to still get my head around a little bit. I need to try and figure out like an actual like permanent link. That's something that I'm trying to figure out. But I will, and it'll all get sorted. But everything for that will be down in the notes, the Facebook, the Discord, etc. So you can go down there and have a little look. So I'm going to give you just a bit of a life update, really. This week, oh my gosh, I have been so sick. Like, you can still kind of hear it in my voice now. Last, not Saturday, just gone the Saturday before, I completely lost my voice. And I was kind of like a little bit gruff. And I think last week's video, you can kind of tell I was kind of getting sick. I recorded that on the Monday, and then literally by that Monday evening, I was sick as a dog. Oh, it was so terrible. Basically, I have bronchitis. I felt like I couldn't breathe, and even now I still kind of feel like a little bit about this, but I'm going back to work tomorrow. I was off all week. It was so bad, just absolutely terrible, but it's getting there now. I feel like I can breathe again, which is absolutely amazing, but still full of colds, still taking paracetamol. But you know what, we're here, we're crocheting, we're gonna get over it. Do you know what? I was that sick. Literally, I felt like I couldn't even crochet. That's how sick I was. It was terrible. So if you're wondering why I sound a little bit hoarse, that is the reason. So what am I working on? Because obviously you can see I'm sitting here crocheting. This is actually a jumper for Jackson, and this is going to be a full video. I'm not going to fully tell you what it is. You might see little flashes of it as I'm turning the work, because I'm actually finishing off the final sleeve. And because the way I'm doing basically, it's a tapestry project. I've kind of gone back and forth. So when you're doing that with crochet rather than working in the rounds, you get like a little bit of a ridge. So to keep that kind of, you know, formation, I want the sleeves to look the same. I want this continuity throughout the whole thing. I'm turning those sleeves as well, so you still get that like ridge. But it's nearly done. He's absolutely made up with it. He can't wait till we get this finished. He just wants to wear it so bad. So today's episode, we are just going to talk about the game of wool again. I know that this has kind of become like a bit of a game of wool review podcast for the last few weeks. But I'm just so happy because I just love talking about this show. I think it's absolutely brilliant. Yes, there are problems. Yes, there are faults. Yes, there has been discourse. Yes, they are talking about things like to do with stitches and getting everything incorrect. And I think mainly that's just because I don't think anybody on the staff actually crochets or knits. I don't think anyone in the editing room, I don't think they are crocheters or knitters, because if they were, these things would, you know, not be kind of getting slipped through the net. This week is a really fun week. The individual challenge was actually an amigurumi challenge, so they could use crochet or they could use knitting, which again, you know, I love that. And then for the group task, they're making a slouchy cardigan. So that is like why I'm wearing my hexie cardi. I love my hexie cardi. I love that it's now cold enough to wear it again. I've actually edited it a little bit, so you might have noticed if you've watched the Hexicardie video, I actually put a tie on because I found that it was becoming a little bit too slouchy, and I was like, I could put a button there, but I just think having a little bow is just like super duper cute. So what I did was I actually chained 80 and then went back in single crochets, joining it at the top. So cute. I'm obsessed with it and I love it, and I'm just so happy that now it's like cozy and it stays on and it's not slouching, because I get a bit overstimulated, and sometimes, you know, if things are falling off you or it's getting in your face and you're getting driven like mad, I just won't wear it. So doing that little bit of an edit on it has been amazing. So they're doing texture. That's like the big theme for the group challenge. So we're going to be looking at like big cable knits and fun textured knit kind of things. Texture was also a big focus in the amigurumi challenge as well, because the actual theme is food. Now the judges, they want this to be realistic amigurumi. So not thinking about like little tiny like faces and cutesy. They want realism. Oh, Tilly's coming over. Hello, Tilly. Do you want to have a cuddle? So Tilly's coming over. Tilly, just a little bit of update for Tilly. Tilly had 8 teeth out the other day, didn't you? Cost us an arm and a leg. But she is honestly like the unsinkable Molly Brown. Like, this dog, the vet told us to mentally prepare ourselves that she might be like dribbling blood and all this kind of stuff. This dog walked out of the vet's on her lead, tail wagging, because she's just such a sweetheart, and then came home and ate her tea after having 8 teeth out. Yeah, this dog is the canine version of the unsinkable Molly Brown. This dog was just the dog that just keeps giving and giving, and she's 14 this month. On the 19th, Tilly turns 14, so we'll have to do something special for you, won't we? Yes, we will. So I'll put my crochet down and we'll just have a little snuggle. That's one thing that's a bit of a change in Tilly since she had this operation, is she's become very, very snuggly. I think although she's like fine, she's going out for a walk, she's eating her dinner, she's a little bit more snoozy, and I think it has kind of to give her a little bit of a knock. So I don't get me wrong, I'm made up because I just want a cuddle buddy. I'm just like, yes, give me all the snugs. So I don't know how long this cuddle will last, but we will see. We will see, won't we, Baba? So let's get back to talking about amigurumi. So they want this to be really realistic, which I think is going to be really, really hard to achieve. They want it to be like serious amigurumi. So when they say serious and realistic, you've got to really consider like the proportions of the food. They want the proportions to be correct. And obviously to achieve these kind of obviously quite organic shapes, they want the contestants to be using like different stitches. So again, it's kind of really showcasing their ability and really pushing what they can actually do. So again, with amigurumi, I think people tend to, when they think amigurumi, they tend to think crochet, but really amigurumi means either crocheted or knitted, like dog. That's basically what it means. So I really like the fact that they can either use either technique. They have 12 hours. They want to see embellishments. I think this is going to be a really difficult task. One thing I wanted to talk about was the bags, because you see that they've all got these like little knitted bags. I'm going to put a picture over here. They are so cute. And I just wanted to just mention it because I love a knitting bag. Like, you know, you've got all your notions, your little notions bag. I just thought these were so cute. And I just thought, oh my gosh, does anybody else clock them? Also, can we also talk about what the hell Tom Daly is wearing today? Like, I understand that it's like a cardigan challenge. I understand that they want texture, but that literally just looks like a 5-year-old has just vomited onto him. It looks like he's literally been hanging out with my niece Lily, and she's just like, Bubby, and she's just like trying to dress him up. Like, that is literally like what the vibe is giving me. I know it's fun. I know there's a lot of embellishments, but I did not like it. What did everybody else think of what Tom Daly was wearing? It's like absolutely nuts. So the first contestant that they go to is Isaac. And I love Isaac's idea. I absolutely love it. He's going to be making basically a breakfast bagel, bacon, egg, cheese. And the coolest thing about it is he's putting magnets inside. So imagine, you know, like a bagel when you see somebody kind of break a bagel open, where they kind of like, they cut it and then they do the little shout, oh, you're going to go down, babe? Okay. When they kind of like open it up, that having the magnets inside is going to help him like achieve that. And I think that is just so genius, so mathematical, so much like forethought has had to go into the preparation for this. And he's also going to be using a combination of knit and crochet. Now, the second is Elsa. I just also want to say, I keep calling her Isla, and I don't know why I keep calling her Isla. I just do not know. I used to know a girl called Isla, whether she reminds me of her, I just do not know. It's Elsa, and I want to apologise because in the last episode, I kept saying Isla. But Elsa, I just think she's fantastic. Like, genuinely, everything she makes, I am just so impressed by. I think it's so beautiful. She is so neat with everything she does. And she's going to be doing a roast dinner, which I love a roast dinner. The Toby Carvery is like genuinely like my favourite, like one of my favourite restaurants. It's cheap, it's cheerful, it's good scran, and I love it. My favourite Toby Carvery is the one in Formby. So if you are in the Liverpool area or like the Northwest, I am heavily suggesting that you go to the Toby Carvery in Formby. It's one of my favourite restaurants. The staff in there are just absolutely fantastic. So that was one little tangent. Going back to Elsa. So she is going to be doing mostly crochet for all of her stuff, except for the spuds. She's going to do the spuds is a knitted spud because of the texture. She wanted to have like a different effect. Holgar. I am just obsessed with Holgar. Like, I'm actually obsessed with him. Like, everything he does, the way he is like, he's like a little bit sassy. The way he kind of just like his little kind of one-liners, I'm just obsessed with him. I want to talk first about the vest that he's wearing, because that vest, I could not take my eyes off it. That geometric pattern is absolutely stunning. I just love his little dicky bows. It's so cute. Now he's going to be doing ramen, and I just love the fact that he's like going to try and attempt this ramen dish. I just think it's so fun. So he's going to be having like a bowl, like a wooden bowl. Then what he's going to do is he's going to create like a flat piece, like a disc, like obviously knitted, and then he's going to rest that inside the bowl so he doesn't have to kind of do everything underneath. So what you have is this illusion of this kind of like ramen soup. And then what he's going to do is he's going to make these individual pieces and lay them on top of that piece, which again is just genius. What I think is really cool about Holgar's as well is he decides that he's going to attempt an illusion. And he's kind of like a bit worried because he's like, is this going to work? I've not tried this before, but we'll see. And what he does is he actually wires two of the noodles and has this like loop. So it looks like there's a pair of like these chopsticks are floating in midair, lifting the noodles out of the bowl. It's absolutely amazing. Now, Tracy is going to be attempting a seafood pasta. She tells this like mad story about like her like with cockles and how all of the family eats seafood and like jellied eels and all this kind of stuff. And Tom Daly is like sat next to her just like, oh. I like the idea that she's going to do bow pasta. Jackson's favourite pasta is like this bow pasta. He absolutely loves it. Sometimes we just do like butter pasta with things for him, and have the bows specifically. He loves a bow pasta. Lydia is going to be doing pie and mash, but she said that she's going to be doing it like East London style. So she's going to have 2 pies, 3 scoops of mash, liquor sauce, and then she's also got peas. Now, I'd never heard of liquor sauce before. I don't know whether people have it up north. It's not something that I've ever come into contact with. But I googled it and it's kind of like a parsley sauce. For anyone who doesn't know what liquor sauce is, now I kind of want to try it. Now, when Di and Sheila are coming round and they're looking at what she's making, she's got like the mash, and what she's done is she's crocheted them. They're hollow. And then she's going to give them like a good kind of combing out to make them fluffy. But Di and Sheila are quite worried about how that effect is actually going to pan out. Now, Simon is the only one that doesn't have a badge. That's what they're saying on the show. I can't remember if Tracy won. Like, my brain is just like not computing when Tracy won. I'm going to have to like look back through the episodes. If anyone else can remember, comment down below. But apparently Simon is the only one who's not won a badge. So he really wants to, and he's really going to push himself this week. He's going to be attempting a full English, and he's going to be doing this in crochet, and he's going to be doing it freehand again. So when he was saying that, I was like, oh my God, what are you doing? Don't be doing that. What he makes is unbelievable. Like, honestly, I feel like last week's challenge, again, the planning out and really understanding like the methods, he's really pushed himself, and what he achieves this week is unreal. Like, I was like so impressed with what he made. He made this bacon, and the way he's manipulated the crochet stitches, the bacon has got that ripple in it, because obviously when you're cooking bacon, it's not flat, is it? It has like texture and movement, and the bacon is twisting with the heat. Oh my gosh, it's unreal what he makes. Like, genuinely, when I saw that bacon, I was like, he's gonna win. He's gonna win the challenge. So they're all trying to, like, you know, get all the things together, and they were all kind of like trying to like make all this stuff. They had 12 hours to do this. 12 hours. Tom Daley, oh my gosh, he tries to start like a little fight about eggs between Simon and Isaac, because they were both making eggs. I was like, oh my gosh, Tom Daley trying to like stir the pot. Another thing I thought was really cool about Elsa's as well is she is like taking bits of thread and combining it. So all of her work, I've got like these different shades running through, which again is just so beautiful. Now Tracy, I was quite shocked. She's not using a lot of embellishments, and you know, she loves an embellishment, but she really wasn't using a lot of embellishments with the thing that she was making. And also the judges were quite worried because she was just using one stitch over and over and over again, which was making everything look a little bit flat. There was also a bit of a worry where Di was kind of saying, are you sure that that pasta is the size of the pasta? Like, remember we were talking about proportions, and she was just like, yeah, might be slightly bigger, but I'll get away with it. And it's like, listen to what the judges are saying. The judges are challenging you on that. Take that on board. So we get to the judging. Isaac goes first, and oh my gosh, I love the fact that Isaac wraps his bagel in tinfoil, which I was like, that is such a beautiful little addition. I think what he makes is the coolest. I love the fact that it's interactive, the fact that you can break that open and put it back together. Like, it's so like amazingly constructed. You can see how much forethought has actually gone into it. He gets marked down though because there's not enough like embellishment on the top. It's like he's run out, which he said was basically down to the time. And also the bacon that he crochets, I'm going to say cook then. The bacon that he crochets is very, very flat, which again, if he kind of thought about the way Simon had done his, the way it was kind of wrinkling, that maybe it would have made it look a little bit more realistic. So the next to be judged is Lydia. I love what Lydia makes. I think what she makes is absolutely beautiful. Like the pie crust, the colours that she chooses. I always mention people when they choose specific colours, because that is something that I do struggle with. The colours she chose were so gorgeous. They were like vibrant, but they still had like a naturalistic feel to them. They didn't like the mash. They didn't like the mash. They thought the mash didn't work. Everything else they really, really loved. But the mash, they said that they wished that she'd knitted it. It would have given a better texture. There would have been more like kind of like a naturalistic kind of like, you know, feel to the way that the mash is falling onto the plate, where this, because she crocheted it like a crochet ball, it kind of looked like a snowball. What they were basically saying was there wasn't enough texture, and that's really what the whole week is themed about, is texture. So Simon's is the next to be judged. Oh my gosh, it looks unreal. I love that he serves it in this like square frying pan. Everything just has so much kind of like texture, and it's so realistic. The shapes, the sizes, he's put so much care and attention into it, and it just looks boss. I think it's the bacon, really. The bacon, the thought that he's put into that bacon, it's so unbelievable. Like, even like the veins like running through, it just looks so fab. Tracy, oh god, okay. Like, I love Tracy and I think she's amazing, but I think what she's made here looks an absolute show. I feel like the colours that she chose are really gaudy and kind of like not really natural. She gets the shape of the pasta wrong, and it all just looks very, very flat. One thing that Di says is she's upset with like the mussel shells, because mussel shells have got like so much colour within them, and she could have really done something with that, but like having just this flat black, it just was such a letdown. Elsa as well got some interesting critiques, because what they say is what she makes is so beautiful, it's so perfect, it's so neat. Like the colours she chooses, by the way, are unreal as well, like so beautiful. But that is actually what lets her down, is the amount of perfection within the work, because food isn't perfect. It's, you know, it can be a bit messy, it is a bit, you know, freeform and organic, and having these very perfect shapes and these perfect stitches kind of made it feel not real. Holgar's was insane. Insanely good. Like, the illusion with the chopsticks just works so well. Having these pieces, the fact that they are just laid on top, there's like a movable kind of element to it. They're very, very sort of like the way they're resting there, just so fantastic. At first I thought Simon was going to win, and after seeing what Holgar makes, I was like, Holgar's going to win this hands down. This is like, he says, look, the gloves are off, the gloves are off. We're at that point in the competition now, because next week is the semi-final. I'm going to pick up my garment again. Now Tilly's off my knee. So the next we're going to move on to is the team challenge. So the team challenge, they have got to work together in pairs to create some slouchy cardigans, which is the reason again why I'm wearing my hexie. So this is going to be a knitting challenge, and what the judges want is they want lots and lots and lots of different textures, loads of different knit stitches, but they want the stitches to have a clear definition. This is about showing off their skills and their stitch knowledge. There's going to be a blind judge as well, so the judges have to leave the yarn barn, and they're going to be working in these teams of 2, and they have 10 hours to create this garment. They've also got to work in one colour, so that's where texture is going to be their friend to make the garment interesting. The first pair is Tracy and Isaac. And I love the fact that Tom Daly is making this kind of Cardi B joke where he's like, Team Cardi A, Team Cardi B, Team Cardi C. Tracy and Isaac, they decide they're going to do a yellow cardigan. Cardi B is Elsa and Holgar. They decide that they're going to do red. And then Cardi C is you have Lydia and Simon, and they are going to do green. They're also working in really chunky wool for this challenge. No, the size of the needles that they're using, oh my days, looks like a curtain pole, honestly. Di, when she's kind of sitting at the table with Tom Daly outside the room, is saying that she wants there to be like a reverse stitch, so it could make the garment reversible. So basically what you have is this stitch where it'll look one on one side, and then on the other side it looks like something different. And Sheila, what she is wanting is she is wanting them to really push themselves. She's wanting the contestants to really show the best of their ability. Tracy and Isaac come up with this really fun design. It's actually Isaac's idea, like in Tarja, creating a picture but with texture, and he chooses to do a smiley face. It's going to be a 5-piece garment, so the back panel is 1 piece, the front 2 are 2 pieces, and then the sleeves, so totaling in 5 separate pieces. So they're going to be using like cable stitches and bubble stitches. Tracy's going to have a bit of a problem because she's never ever done a bubble stitch before. Again, I don't knit, so I've never tried this before either. But apparently the way you create a bubble stitch is you have to drop stitches and then re-pick them back up, which I can't imagine doing because that seems so stressful. Because I know if you drop a stitch in knitting, the whole garment can come apart. So I would probably say that is probably an advanced stitch. And for somebody who's maybe never done the bubble stitch before, or is a real knitter, is more of a crocheter, that could be a bit of a risky choice. So Lydia and Simon, they're doing the back and front in a cable stitch. And then the arms are going to be in a honeycomb stitch. The colour green that they choose as well is like this really beautiful kind of muted green. It's like a kind of like almost like a mossy green. It's got a very natural kind of feel to it. It's so beautiful. They too are also going to be making 5 separate pieces. So 2 pieces for the front, 1 piece for the back, and then the arms. Now, Holger and Elsa, they're going to be doing this a little bit differently. They are the only team that decide to do 2 pieces. So when you do a hexie-cardi, like the one that I'm wearing, you basically, essentially, it's really 3 pieces, but you could do it with 2. So what you think is you actually just make 2 separate panels and then stitch the back together. And obviously they'd stitch the arm because of the way that they're actually doing it. It's so fascinating and so interesting that they choose to do it this way. Because with knitting, all the stitches are going like, obviously like a vertical stitch. But there's the way that they're going to be knitting. It's actually going to make those stitches go horizontal, which again adds to that texture. They're using 4 different types of stitches as well. Elsa's going to be using a waffle stitch and a Scottish fleet stitch. And Holgar is going to be using the seerstocker stitch and the diamond Genzi stitch. Now listen, I might have said those wrong because I rewound this like 3 times and I couldn't quite get what they were saying. So I apologise if I've said those stitches wrong. But the stitches, they got 4 different types of stitches, which I just think is so fab. And I also like the fact that they're doing this a little bit differently to the rest of the groups. I also want to say, I've said this before, I am obsessed with the dynamic between Holger and Simon. I think the two of them are like a little comedy duo. They are absolutely hilarious. Simon gets up with his knitting and he kind of like walks over to Holger. And Holger's like, get away from me, what are you doing? And like Simon's like behind him going, what you making? What you making? He comes around and Simon sits down next to Holger and he's like, you okay? And Holger was like, yes, I was okay until you put your fat ass on my knitting. I just love that everyone is like laughing. The two of them are laughing, and I just think they've got such a sweet little vibe between the two of them. Like, I think they're gonna obviously like remain friends after this. Now, Isaac and Tracy, they see something is going wrong with their project. Tracy, when she's been doing these bobble stitches, when she's been dropping the stitches, she hasn't been picking them back up again, which is so terrifying because at any moment those sleeves could just come apart. Also, Holger and Elsa, they also notice that something is going very, very wrong. When they've been stitching the garment together, Holger realised that he was stitching it inside out, which, yeah, you can see that they're like really stressed. They were using a technique as well, which would have given like a real seamless kind of vibe. And it was like, you guys were so close to having this completely perfect garment, and just this little mistake could really ruin things for them. So now it's time for the judging. Lydia and Simon, the judges really, really like what they've made. They really love like the edging, they love the uses of the stitches, but on the back of their garment, when the stitches kind of change, it created this very like weird kind of ridge, like at the back. You can kind of see this kind of like protruding, almost like a lump at the back. So they were kind of marking them down on that. Also, the sleeves weren't completely even as well, which is such a shame. I had the tape measure out and was like measuring the sleeves. I was like, oh my gosh, so stressful. I really, really love what they make. I think it's really, really beautiful. Obviously, there's, going to be imperfections because they're speed knitting, because that's like, again, one of the big criticisms of the show is how fast the contestants are expected to bring these garments together. The next team to be judged are Tracy and Isaac. Now, I thought the judges were really going to like this, having that creativity of having the smiley face on the back. I thought the smiley face was amazing. I thought it was dead good, but Di and Sheila don't like it. They think that the shape isn't protruding enough, and it just kind of comes across as like a little picture, and really texture is what the challenge was, not pictures. It was they wanted to have this texture. So the fact that it kind of fell with the texture, they were very upset with that. Also, they instantly noticed that the stitches are starting to drop and that the garment, it's not safe and it's unstable. Di is practically in tears, and not in a good way. She's panicking, thinking like, oh gosh, this is going to come apart, all the work that they've done. I think the colour's fab. I think it's like I think obviously besides the obvious problems, I think it's a really pretty garment. So we've got Elsa and Holger next. The first thing that they comment on is the fact that it's constructed in a different way. They are very, 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 very impressed with the fact that this garment is stitched together in the way that it is. They love the amount of texture, all those different uses of the different stitches. But then they notice that one of the sides is inside out, and they can like tell, and they're both looking at it. Like, that kind of just shows like their skill. And obviously I think a lot of people are kind of like, they're so wooden and they're so stiff, and it's like, these are industry people, like they are able to like pick up on like these things, and it's just, I think it's fab the way that they're really like examining things. And I think it's going to come with time. Like, I think their energy will come, and I think we just need to give it a chance. This is the first season. What I really love though is they start to take it off the mannequin, and they're saying like, right, is this intentional? Have they done this intentionally to kind of give like additional texture? Let's turn it inside out and see what it looks like inside out. And they were just like buzzing about it, and they thought it was like the coolest thing ever, which again, it's a happy accident. It's very, very Bob Ross. Like, they were so happy. We're like, we don't know if this is intentional, but you know what? Even if it isn't, this works. So they end up judging the teams. The bottom team, third place, is the yellow cardi, Tracy and Isaac. Obviously, if it's going to come apart in someone's hands, it's going to be in the bottom. The second team is the green team, Lydia and Simon. And the team that wins is Elsa and Holgar, the red cardigan. I think that was 100% like correct. Like, I thought that cardigan, you can just see how they've tried to like do things outside of the box, and I thought just the thought process behind it, also with the maximum amount of stitches, I think they really pushed themselves, which is what Sheila was basically requesting, and really understanding the brief, having that texture, and the fact that they had this happy accident was just the cherry on top of the cake. So they then go to judging who was going to be at the top of the week, the best knitter, and who was going to be getting cast off. Now, in the bottom, it's going to come down between Tracy and Isaac. Tracy obviously creating this very, very flat pasta dish where everything was just kind of like a little bit off. And then obviously the drop stitches and making the garment unstable. Isaac, what the thing they talk about is the fact that he struggles to get things completed. And I think that's a bit of an unfair like assessment, really, because you're putting so much strain on something that does take a long time. And again, it's like, you've got to know crochet, you've got to know knitting, you've got to know all these multiple stitches. It's like, and I know that they're looking for the best of the best, but again, it's that speed element of it. I don't like the fact that they're judging him on that. The top of the week is between Holgar and Simon. And what they say about Holgar is it's obvious why Holgar is in the top with what he created. That floating, like, you know, ramen, unreal. The cardigan being in the top team as well, the winning team. But Simon, what they say is they're really recognising how much progress Simon has actually made. Simon has made so much progress. Like 2 weeks ago, I was like, you know, being quite mean about his crochet skills. This week, absolutely amazing. It's like not the same person, like so unreal. Now, the person who actually wins is Holgar, and I agree with that statement. Although Simon has progressed, Holgar was leaps and bounds above so many people within this competition. Like, his skill is just absolutely amazing, and I think now he's the first person to win 2 sheep badges, just saying. And the person who gets cast off is Tracy. Oh, I'm gutted because I really like Tracy and I think she's really, really fun, and I'm just gutted, but at the same time, I agree with everything that the judges said. Like, that pasta dish, and I know that like it's a bit of a mess. She actually said, she was like, it's a seafood pasta, those dishes look a bit of a mess. Then why are you choosing it? Why are you choosing something that looks messy? Like, it just, I don't know. I didn't really understand the thought behind that. But yeah, she gets cast off. Very, very, very sad. But I do agree with what the judges have said. What do you guys think? I want you to let me know. Who do you think should have won? Who do you think should have been cast off? Or do you agree with what was actually, you know, gone put forward? So next week, what they're going to be doing is jewellery. So they're going to be in the individual challenges doing knitted jewellery, which I absolutely love. I'm wondering if they'll do crochet though, because they said, I'm sure that they just said knitted jewellery. And they did this little flash of Simon doing wire and doing a Viking method. So I don't know whether it's just going to be knitted. I think they just kind of use knitting as like this like blanket term, which is so annoying to people who crochet and knit. And then you've got lace as the group challenge. So they are really pushing. I've never done lace before, and I feel like that is like something, I think a lot of people haven't really, you know, done lace work before, and I think it's going to be an interesting challenge to watch for next week. So that is my review of episode 5. Do you agree? Do you not agree? Who are you hoping is going to win? Because at the moment, I am like full on Team Holgar. Like, I think that's just been a slow development for me because it was between Elsa, Lydia and Holgar. And I think for me, it's definitely going to be Holgar. Let me know. So I'll talk a little bit about this Sunday as well. So this Sunday, what we're going to be doing is I'm actually going to be doing a review of the Joe's Toes little embellishments that I bought at the Yorkshire Yarn Festival. I took it round to my mum and dad's and we had this lovely little crafty night at the back end of November. It was really, really, really lovely. We all got together and we made pom-poms and we made these garlands with the kids. And it was just so much fun. So this Sunday, it's going to be like a little sort of Christmas crafty party. So it's going to be really, really, really fun. I can't wait for you guys to see what me and my family actually came up with. It's really, really beautiful. And I also get to talk about Joe's Toes, which I can't wait to bump into Joe's toes. Again, I really hope they're going to be at Blackpool. So there's a bunch of us as well that are going to be going to the Northwest Winter Wool Festival, which is going to be held in Blackpool at the Norbreck Hotel. We're going to be going on the Sunday. I think that's the 14th or maybe the 15th. I think it's the 15th actually. It's on Valentine's Day weekend. So there's a bunch of us that are going to be going. David, Wendy, Jeanette. I think Tedi's going to come. I can't remember. Sarah from the Knitting Forecast is also going to be coming along as well, which is going to be absolutely amazing. So there's going to be a bunch of us going. So if you would like to come along and meet up with us, please send me a message. We're going to be making a little group chat soon and we can all discuss what we're actually going to be, getting up to on that day. But I really hope Joe's Toes are going to be there. I need to have a little look at the lineup and see who's going to be there. I'm very, very excited because now I just want to buy more Joe's Toes stuff. So I really hope that you've enjoyed hanging out with us today. I love always having these little chats in our little group chat down below in the notes when we have our premieres. And again, like I said before, that's the best thing about doing this. We basically have a craft club and it doesn't mean that you have to leave the house. So if you struggle getting out of the house but you still want community, you have that here. Or if you just have a busy life, sometimes life just takes over, doesn't it? And trying to kind of make the time and the effort to actually go out and join a society or join a group can be really, really, really difficult. But here you can dip in, you can dip out, and there's no pressure. Now, I never ever want my content to ever go behind a paywall because it's just not something that I believe. If you want to come and join our club, regardless of your income, you should have access to this. That's just genuinely what I believe. But I do have a YouTube membership. It's $2.99 a month. And what that does is that basically helps me buy wool, keeps me fueled in cups of tea, that kind of thing. And what you get for that is you get priority responses to comments, you get a badge next to your name saying that you're part of the community, and then you also get a shout out in every single video. I just want to take the opportunity to thank Wendy, David, Emma, Claire, Emma, Tedi, Liz, Miss Horror Radio, and Jeanette. Thank you so much for supporting me every single month. I also have the Coffee app for one-off payments. And just liking, commenting and sharing, that pushes me towards the algorithm. And that is really, really, really helpful. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video and listening to me waffle on about this amazing show about wool. So remember, we upload 2 times a week. Sunday, we have our craft project of the week, and every Wednesday, we have the Chit Chat and Crochet podcast. So if I don't see you on Sunday, I'll see you next week. Bye.